Most people collapse long before life truly challenges them. Not because the world is merciless, but because their minds are untrained. They let emotions take the wheel. They let opinions shape who they are. They let fear whisper their decisions. And when the weight of pressure hits, they crumble. But Machiavelli saw something few ever understand, that true strength doesn't come from kindness. It comes from control. He believed your mind is your throne, and if you don't rule it, someone else will. Becoming mentally untouchable doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up one morning immune to judgment or rejection. It's built over time, brick by brick, through discipline, detachment, and deliberate thought. The world will constantly test you. It will use failure, betrayal, and loss to break your focus. And most people will fall apart under that weight. But not you. You're here because you're done letting emotions dictate your reality. You're here because you want command over your reactions, your focus, and your peace. Like a silent ruler who governs his kingdom without noise or approval, you're learning to lead your inner world. So, before we begin, ask yourself one question. Do you control your mind, or does the world control it for you? Because your answer defines everything. If you let the world control your emotions, you'll forever be its puppet. But if you master your mind, you become untouchable, immune to failure, betrayal, and chaos. Every obstacle will sharpen you instead of breaking you. From this moment, think like Machiavelli. Detach from emotion, study human nature, use discipline as your armor and silence as your sword. Because when you learn to command your own mind, no one can disturb your peace again. Now, before we move forward, type this in the comments. From today, I choose strength over emotion. Lesson 1. Control the narrative. Power begins in perception. The way people see you determines how they treat you, trust you, and respect you. Machiavelli knew the world isn't ruled by truth. It's ruled by appearance. People don't see your intentions. They see your presentation. They don't read your mind. They react to your image. In a world obsessed with perception, whoever controls the story controls reality. You can be brilliant, wise, or powerful. But if you let others define your image, you lose your crown before the battle begins. The most dangerous mistake is believing that truth alone will protect you. It won't. Truth is quiet. It's ignored by those too distracted by what's visible. Machiavelli once said, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can understand." People judge you by what they can observe, your composure, your tone, your energy. If you look uncertain, the world will devour you. If you look confident, it will hesitate before testing you. To become mentally untouchable, you must become the author of your narrative. Control how others interpret your silence, your words, and even your mistakes. Never over-explain yourself. The moment you start defending your image, you surrender power. A quiet presence speaks louder than frantic words. Let them wonder. Let them guess. The less they know, the more authority you hold. In every room, there's a silent battle for dominance. The loud seek attention. The wise seek control. You don't need to announce who you are. Let your presence do that for you. People can sense power long before they understand it. Every pause, every look, every subtle movement communicates one truth. I am in command. Understand this. When you control perception, you bend reality. The calm are seen as powerful. The desperate are seen as weak. Even when chaos surrounds you, stay composed. That illusion of control protects you more than 1,000 explanations ever could. The mind believes what the eyes repeat. If the world consistently sees you calm, confident, and unshaken, it will treat you as such, even if you're still mastering that calm within. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you really are. So appear strong even when uncertain. Appear grounded even under fire. Control your tone, your gaze, and your words. Let your silence roar louder than others' noise." When people try to label you, don't argue. Rewrite their label through action. When they underestimate you, let results speak. When they doubt you, respond with quiet confidence. Control isn't manipulation, it's direction. It's deciding how your energy is interpreted in a chaotic world. When you master perception, you stop chasing validation and start commanding respect. You no longer live by how others define you. You define yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my image. Lesson 2. Detach from emotion. Emotion is the easiest tool the world uses to control you. The moment someone can spark your anger, fear, or sadness, they own you. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He observed that emotional people are predictable, and predictable minds are easy to manipulate. But detachment isn't coldness. It's quiet strength. It's the ability to witness chaos without letting it invade your mind. When you practice detachment, you stop wasting energy on things unworthy of your focus. You stop reacting to every insult, every disappointment, every unexpected twist. You stop bleeding energy through reaction and start responding with reason. That's when you become dangerous. Most people take pride in being real, believing that expressing every emotion is power. But uncontrolled emotion isn't power, it's exposure. It's a roadmap to your weaknesses. When you react too quickly, you reveal where you can be manipulated. And once people see your triggers, they'll press them, consciously or not, just to feel control over you. That's how manipulation truly works, not through force, but through access. Emotional access, Machiavelli once wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In other words, wisdom acts from control, never impulse. The fool reacts immediately. The wise act deliberately. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop being ruled by what you feel. You can experience pain without becoming it. You can face betrayal without losing your peace. Think of emotions as storms, loud, unpredictable, temporary. Don't chase the thunder. Stand still and let it pass. That stillness, that ability to remain centered, is command. Machiavelli called it the strength of rule, the power to stay calm while others collapse. People will fear that calm. They can't read it. And what can't be read can't be controlled. Picture this. Two people face the same insult. One explodes in rage, loses his image, and says too much. The other simply looks back silent, maybe with a faint smile. Who do you think holds the power? The second one wins without a word. He didn't react, he redirected. He didn't fight, he observed. That's psychological dominance. True mastery isn't suppressing your feelings. It's owning them. You decide what leaves your mind. You decide when to speak, when to wait, and when to move. That control separates the rulers from the ruled. Machiavelli advised leaders to appear merciful, faithful, sincere, and to be so when possible, but to remain ready to act otherwise when necessity demands. Meaning, emotion should serve your strategy, not sabotage it. If your feelings help your purpose, use them. If they weaken your position, silence them. Emotion must work for you, never against you. And when you learn to detach, life becomes quiet. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't listen. You stop expecting fairness in a world built on power. You begin to see patterns instead of personal attacks. You collect data instead of drama. That's when you start winning, and silently. Detachment doesn't make you numb. It makes you untouchable. No insult, betrayal, or failure can destroy a mind that refuses to react. You might bend, but you won't break. The world's noise can't shake a person who moves with calm intention. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I feel, but I do not fall. Lesson 3. Expect betrayal. Trust strategy. Betrayal isn't rare. It's routine. The sooner you understand that loyalty is temporary, the faster you stop being shocked when people turn on you. Machiavelli warned that loyalty lasts only as long as it benefits someone. Once their interest ends, so does their devotion. That's not cynicism. That's human nature. To survive in a world driven by self-interest, you must replace emotional trust with strategic awareness. The wise don't depend on promises. They build systems that still function when those promises break. Most people suffer because they expect consistency in a world built on convenience. They cling to the idea that loyalty is sacred, when in reality, it's conditional. Expecting betrayal doesn't make you paranoid. It makes you prepared. Machiavelli once wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." He meant that people change their allegiance whenever it benefits them, and you must never take it personally. Betrayal isn't always an act of malice. Sometimes it's just human weakness revealed under pressure. And when you accept that, you stop reacting with anger and start responding with clarity. You stop seeing betrayal as tragedy. You see it as information. It tells you who values gain over loyalty, who pretends for advantage, and who will vanish the moment the winds shift. Strategic minds don't depend on people, they depend on structure. They don't tie their survival to others, they tie it to preparation. If you rely on emotion, you'll always be vulnerable. If you rely on design, you'll always have control. Build a life that keeps standing even if every ally walks away. Make sure no single person holds the power to destroy your peace or progress. That's not being cold. It's being intelligent. Detachment from blind trust doesn't kill connection. It purifies it. You start valuing consistency over promises, patterns over words. When you expect betrayal, you stop over-investing in illusions. You notice flattery for what it is. You see warning signs others ignore. You learn to read intention before it reaches your heart. Machiavelli believed that foresight is the highest form of power. A leader who can anticipate deception before it happens never loses control. He once wrote, "The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger, but in great crisis, he is willing to risk everything, knowing that sometimes it is not worth living without honor." That's not pessimism. That's realism. It's the art of caring selectively, of protecting your energy from unstable allies and unworthy causes. Most people aren't destroyed by betrayal. They're destroyed by their denial of it. They refuse to believe it could happen until it already has. The Machiavellian mindset removes that illusion. It accepts inconsistency as fact and plans accordingly. You don't build walls around your heart. You build gates that open only for those who've earned it through time and trial. And even then, you never forget that people can change. That's not bitterness, that's awareness. You remain calm but cautious, alert but not afraid. Because when you expect betrayal, you stop fearing it. Your strategy becomes your shield. Your clarity becomes your armor. You stop chasing loyalty and start commanding respect, because the one who prepares for betrayal never kneels to it. Now drop this in the comments. I trust strategy, not sympathy. Lesson 4. Appear calm, think cold. In a chaotic world, calmness is power. Most people mistake composure for weakness. Machiavelli knew it as a weapon, silent, precise, and deadly. When you remain calm while others panic, you project control without speaking a word. The restless can't see what the composed observer does. The impulsive can't notice patterns hidden behind emotion. And when people sense that you are unshakable, fear follows naturally. Machiavelli said, "A prince must learn how not to be good. Not cruelty, but emotional discipline. The ability to withhold kindness when it would weaken authority. Being good is easy. Staying calm while the world burns is mastery. When others expect you to break and you don't, their illusion of power collapses. Calmness terrifies the unstable. It makes the impulsive hesitate. They don't understand why you don't react, argue, or crumble. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their chaos back at them. The world respects those who remain centered under pressure because it's rare. Most minds are slaves to reaction. They speak too quickly, decide too soon, and lose everything to emotion. The cold strategist pauses. He observes. He chooses the perfect moment to act. Patience isn't weakness, it's control over time. Machiavelli once wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. That balance requires calm on the surface and calculation beneath. You must appear serene like still water, while your mind is sharp like ice. Never reveal tension, doubt, or fear. Let them wonder if you even feel." The less they know about your inner state, the more unpredictable and dangerous you become. To appear calm, train your inner voice. Every insult, every unexpected problem, every provocation must be met with one question. Does reacting help me win? If the answer is no, you stay silent. That silence unsettles others more than rage ever could. A calm response kills arguments faster than aggression. The cold mind doesn't chase victory through words. It wins through energy. Even amidst hostility, keep your tone steady, your gaze fixed, your gestures minimal. Confidence is communicated through stillness, not noise. This lesson isn't about hiding emotion. It's about mastering its display. Control the theater of your presence. Let what others see always serve your advantage. Appear rational when others are irrational. Smile when they expect fury. Walk slowly when they rush. Show that you are never moved. Unless you choose to be, over time, calmness becomes armor. No one knows your breaking point because you never reveal it. You become the observer in every storm, the strategist among the reactive, the one who dominates through quiet control. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My calmness is my power. Lesson 5. Keep power in silence. Silence is not emptiness. It's control in its purest form. The more you speak, the more you expose. Every unnecessary word is a window into your mind, and once people can see in, they can predict you. Machiavelli understood that true power thrives in mystery. Silence isn't the absence of communication. It's a deliberate strategy of dominance. When you speak less, others begin to fill the gaps with their own assumptions, doubts, and fears. That uncertainty becomes your advantage. The quiet observer is never ignored. He is studied, analyzed, whispered about. People underestimate those who speak little until they act. And by the time action comes, it's often too late for anyone to stop it. Words are cheap. Everyone uses them to justify themselves, seek validation, or prove control. Power doesn't explain itself. It doesn't negotiate. Machiavelli said, "Nothing great was ever achieved without risk. Even silence carries risk." People misinterpret it. They assume weakness, yet that same silence commands fear. People fear what they can't predict, what they can't control. The quiet person who observes more than he speaks becomes the most dangerous presence in any room. Others are left guessing his thoughts, intentions, and next move. To master silence, you must first overcome the urge to prove yourself. Most talk to protect their ego. They over-explain, defend, and overstate. Every explanation leaks power. The Machiavellian mind speaks with purpose, only when the outcome demands it. You must grow comfortable with pauses, with unspoken tension, with letting others drown in their own noise. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. Every second you hold your tongue, they expose strategy, weakness, and desire. Every word they utter in your presence becomes data. Silence transforms interactions into mirrors. It reveals the truth of others while your own mind remains unreadable. In negotiations, arguments, or conflicts, it turns the battlefield in your favor. A person who speaks rarely is assumed to think deeply. Their words carry weight precisely because they are scarce. You don't need to be the loudest or smartest in the room, just the one who doesn't feel the need to speak constantly. Over time, silence becomes your identity. It makes you unpredictable, respected, feared. When you finally choose to speak, your words strike with precision, cutting through the noise. Power is measured, not shouted. Composure, observation, patience. These are the weapons of those who remain untouchable. Keep your plans hidden, your thoughts unreadable, your words few. When others cannot decode you, they cannot defeat you. Drop this affirmation in the comments: my silence speaks power. Lesson 6. Master the art of absence. Presence loses value when it becomes constant. The more available you are, the less respect you command. Machiavelli understood that scarcity is influence. A leader who appears too often becomes ordinary. But one who appears selectively becomes unforgettable, almost mythical. Absence isn't withdrawal, it's strategy. It creates space that breeds curiosity, respect, and desire. When people can't always reach you, they start to imagine your worth. They replay your words, study your actions, and anticipate your return. That anticipation is power. Timing matters more than frequency. Show up too often, and your presence loses weight. Appear selectively, and every entrance feels like an event. The weak seek constant attention because they fear being forgotten. The strong withdraw deliberately, making their presence heavier when it matters. Machiavelli said, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, love or fear." A wise leader uses absence to create both. When you disappear, people either miss you or fear losing your favor. Both emotions give you leverage. Continuous exposure dulls mystery. People who know everything about you stop respecting you. But when you become slightly out of reach, their imagination amplifies your power far more than visibility ever could. Absence also protects your mind from distraction. Constant interaction drains focus and exposes patterns that others can exploit. The Machiavellian thinker values solitude not for comfort, but for clarity. When you step away, you regain perspective. You see what the crowd misses. While the masses move by emotion, the detached mind moves by clarity. To master absence, you must retreat without explanation. Don't justify your distance. Don't announce your silence. Simply disappear when necessary and return only when your presence serves a purpose. Those who notice your absence reveal who truly values you. Those who don't reveal who never mattered. The rare minds understand the rhythm of presence. When to step forward, when to vanish. Machiavelli advised rulers to manage visibility carefully. A constant flame burns out fast. A controlled flame endures. You don't need to be everywhere to be felt. You need to be remembered. Your absence must speak louder than others' presence. Let people wonder, where are you? What are you thinking? Why did you withdraw? That uncertainty keeps you relevant even when unseen. Disappearing strategically also tests loyalty. Those who remain during your absence are aligned with your vision. Absence separates the curious from the committed. Most chase attention because they measure worth by reaction. But reaction is fleeting. True power is measured by the silence that follows your absence. When mastered, absence commands attention effortlessly. You become an idea, not just a person, present in thought even when invisible. Step back when you feel the urge to overprove yourself. Create distance to amplify your value. Withdraw not to hide, but to remind the world that your time and energy are privileges, not guarantees. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My absence amplifies my power. Lesson 7. Rule your mind, rule everything. Every form of power begins in the mind. If you cannot control your thoughts, no strategy, wealth, or influence will ever last. Machiavelli knew that the greatest victories are won silently, inside the walls of one's own mind. The world belongs to those who can focus while others drown in distraction. To rule your mind is to master every battlefield, because every external challenge begins as an internal reaction. The strongest person is not the one who dominates others, but the one who controls himself when everything tries to shake him. When you own your inner world, nothing outside can truly touch you. Most people lose the fight before it even begins. They let anxiety dictate their path and emotion dictate their decisions. Their thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind, tossed by circumstance and fear. Machiavelli saw this clearly. He wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." The true meaning: your environment reflects your mind. If your surroundings are chaotic, it's because your mind allows chaos. If your world is noisy and uncontrolled, it's because your thoughts are unguarded. Control begins with awareness. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Discipline them like soldiers who obey every command. Your mind can be your servant or your tyrant. If you fail to govern it, doubt, fear, and insecurity will rise and rule your decisions. But once you detach from impulsive thinking, your mind becomes a weapon sharper than any blade. Machiavellian strength isn't born from aggression. It's born from composure. The disciplined thinker moves deliberately. Every action cuts deeper. He doesn't let the past haunt him or the future overwhelm him. He masters the present with intention. That level of awareness separates conquerors from the conquered. Mental mastery requires constant training. Replace fear with logic. Replace impulse with strategy. Replace noise with silence. Every time you resist reaction, you grow stronger. Over time, your thoughts serve you instead of sabotaging you. The world cannot control someone whose mind is aligned. Insults, betrayal, failure. They lose power because your mind refuses to give them meaning. Power doesn't come from resisting life. Power comes from mastering how your mind interprets it. Machiavelli believed reason must always rule desire. Desire blinds. Reason directs. The one who remains detached yet decisive becomes untouchable. Every empire begins as a disciplined thought. Every downfall begins as a distracted one. When fear rules your mind, the world manipulates you. When strength rules your mind, no manipulation succeeds. Control your mind and you control your destiny. You stop living reactively and start acting deliberately. Step by step, choice by choice, unshaken by chaos. Rule your mind as a sovereign rules a kingdom. Protect it from ignorance, doubt, and corruption. Feed it discipline. Guard it with focus. Let silence be its throne. Once you rule your thoughts, you don't chase peace, you become it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind obeys only me. Being mentally untouchable doesn't mean you feel nothing. It doesn't mean becoming cold, heartless, or disconnected. It means no insult, betrayal, or failure can control you. You become the master of your reactions, the owner of your focus, and the architect of your peace. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every conflict becomes data. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to reinforce your control. Machiavelli taught that power is earned through discipline, observation, and strategy, not luck or fleeting favor. When you apply these lessons, you don't just survive the world, you move through it with authority, clarity, and unstoppable calm. Remember, control begins within. Detachment protects you. Silence amplifies you. Absence increases your value. Calmness intimidates. Strategy shields you from betrayal. Perception shapes reality. Each lesson reinforces the others, forming a fortress of mental strength that cannot be breached. The untouchable mind doesn't react. It dominates through presence, preparation, and patience. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. If this resonated, hit like. Share this video with someone who needs to awaken their inner strength, and subscribe. Mastering the mind is a journey, not a single lesson. Silence, strategy, self-control. Step into it. Build it, live it. Let the world test you, and watch as nothing can ever shake you again. Leave your affirmations in the comments. Let the words echo in your mind. Commit to ruling yourself first, because the moment you own your mind, you own everything.